to the Holy Yogi, where we help you find the spiritual guru inside of you. Hello, beautiful. Hello, handsome. How you doing today? And if no one has told you today that they love you, let me be the first. I love each and every single one of you because love makes the world go round and round and round. And truly, love is the greatest medicine of them all. And simply put, love always, it always wins. But before we begin our fabulous message for the day, I need you to like, comment, subscribe, and ding, 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 ding. Hit that notification bell so we can give you information every single day how you can live heaven right here on earth. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want everybody to get there for me. Somebody needs tea. Somebody needs coffee. Somebody needs a Coke and a smile. We all need smiles today. But what I normally do is I have my smoothie here. I have a smoothie right now, a mixture of strawberry, mangoes, and also banana in there. And if you know anything about banana, it just chills you out. So today we're going to talk about Will Smith, Jada Smith, and Chris Rock, Entanglement, the true story. You know, I had to meditate on this all night. Matter of fact, I wasn't even going to do this video today because it was so much, negativity surrounding it. But after seeing a diva, on YouTube really break it down, I felt it was really important that we get this together, particularly among my African American men and among my African American women. I can understand mainstream society not getting it and understand it, but really perplexes me is how we're not getting it as a people. And I'm talking about Black American people. I'm talking about men and women and even children as far as what's going on today. You see, I'm going to give you the context of what is really going on here. And it's simply put, white supremacy and good old America. You see, in the spiritual realm, we're not supposed to talk about white supremacy. We're not supposed to talk about racism, kumbaya moments for all the things that are going on. But I think it is important, particularly for African Americans, particularly for Black Americans, to fully get and grab this information. And all of you can chime in and ask any questions that you may have. The reality of this situation is this. Number one, Chris Rock, back in 2016, I think it was, he did the Oscars. And it was during a time where Jada Pinkett Smith was calling for Black people to boycott the Oscars because the Oscars were just, quite frankly, all white. It was not a good representation of Black people. Racism in Hollywood is prevalent. It is real, okay? And in a nutshell, she wanted to boycott that to bring greater attention to the injustices as far as bringing greater awareness to Black cinema and being a part of the Oscars experience. Now, in doing so, a lot of Black actors and actresses, including Chris Rock, were being put on notice. Even the NAACP was involved and a lot of other organizations in regards to this to bring great attention to this matter. And in a nutshell, that gentleman got on stage and he basically proceeded to very crass. I'm going to stay with Black women, how we are seen in a global fashion all over the world. He basically said in a nutshell, first and foremost, put Rihanna down and insinuated that she's a whore and that he could not, in a nutshell, get invited to sleep with her. So who invited Jada Pinkett Smith with her downgraded D-level actress status to even be invited to the Oscars? And all the people in the audience, all the Oscars, which is normally all white audience, laughed, mimicked, denigrated Jada Pinkett Smith, Black women in particular, on an international scale to signify and uphold the image of the white media as well as white Golden Globe Oscars image of us being insignificant, not respected, not revered, and not honored in the United States of America and throughout the whole world. And what really shocked me is that we as a people did not call him to task. We can't control what the other societies do, but we need to control what we do. At one point where we're going to allow ourselves to denigrate, to demean, to inferiorize ourselves because of our lack of self-love and caring for ourselves and our people and our community, and more importantly, our race. I want people to hold on to that for a minute. Because if we don't stand up for something like Dr. Martin Luther King stated, we will fall for anything. And that, the joke is on us more than it's on anything else, because that's a reflection of us and how black men perceive black women and how black women perceive black men. So that's the first denigrating status as far as what has happened approximately 4 years ago. Now we come up to today's event. And he proceeded to go on stage and he said a nice lighthearted joke to, our Hispanic friends, etc., actors and actresses. Very light, not touching, not denigrating, not borderline anything. Very light and very fluffy. And then all of a sudden, you have, oh, thanks NJMP, love you. Then all of a sudden, you have now Will Smith having an opportunity to represent African American men in a positive light in a movie called King Richard. To put him in the status of king. How are black men perceived in America? We know the routine. Robbers, cheaters, stealers, deadbeat dads, hoodlums, gangsters, violent, thieves, murderers, and the like. All negative, stereotypical connotations attached to black men in America. He's in a movie that put black men in a positive light as good fathers, protectors of their family and of their women. Black men who are great leaders, black men who are great businessmen, a black man who is a good husband, a good father, and a good citizen of the United States of America. And African American black people, where were you to see that movie? Particularly black men. I'm talking to black men that always complained about them not being depicted in a positive light. None of you black men were there, but y'all was there to see Black Panther. You were there to see Superman, Robin Hood, and all those other white produced movies about macho. Black men go more to see James Bond than anything. Most of y'all went to go see James Bond movies about a white guy taking over the world and being suave and sophisticated and macho, but you wouldn't go see King James. That movie had an abysmal representation and appearance by us. And black men, where were you when that movie put you in a high light? See, this is what I'm talking about. African Americans complain so much that we are, and Hollywood deals with green. So let me ask you something there. Why were you not there, black men? Of course, black women were there, older, in my age group, older black men and women were there to promote that. It showed a black man who was married, who had children, and gave a productive life for them to go on and be massively successful in the world. And it showed the trials and tribulations, the racist experience that they went through in order to get to the next level. And the key thing in that movie, and Will Smith learned a very valuable lesson that he was trying to convey last night. And that is that King Richard protected his family. Everybody thought he was crazy for standing up for his kids and not allowing mainstream society, which once again, all that media is based upon white supremacy, to denigrate, defame these young girls. I saw their career and I saw the racist actions of the media as well as the tennis association, etc. But they were so excellent at what they did. that they could not deny them. And they had to give them the attention they deserved because, quite frankly, they won each and every single time. And that was the best bread and butter ticket to the highlight as far as the USA champions was concerned. Because both in the men division, the white men were not doing well and winning those championships any long, all over those Grand Slams. And also in the female division, it was only Venus and Serena majority of the time during the height of their career. So they could not deny success. And excellence, that's the key word, excellence. But you have on a night when Will Smith deservingly, it was his night. And this man sat up there and denigrated his wife again. And I want you to understand, particularly black people, I want you to understand this because I'm really talking to you. And that is this. When it comes to our hair, let me be very, very clear. When it comes to our hair in America, you know better. You know that there had to be a law put in place in California to allow black women to wear their natural hair. I'm talking about the hair that they were born with so they could have their jobs. Black women were being fired from their jobs, and I'll be the first to raise my hands. I did not start locking my hair until I left corporate America, or some people call it the corporate plantation, because we got to abide by Europeanized standards. So a lot of black women will weaves and wear and press their hair to make it look straight and make it look European, instead of being able to have the wherewithal and the natural, this is our natural hair, ability to wear our own hair in public. And you are going to have to, why would we need a law in the United States of America? If white women had a law to wear their hair, that they can, whether or not they can blonde their hair, there would be no blonde, blue-eyed white women in America. Because the majority of blondes in America are not true blondes. Let's keep it real. But the point about society can tell a woman what she can do with her hair is very misogynistic. And let's just talk about Chris Rock. Knowing that what he created a movie, a documentary, that this was so ironic and how misogynistic he is. And if you don't know the word misogynism and what misogynism or what misogynistic means, it means hater of women, which is basically the foundation of the Bible, Christian Bible, so I can understand why people will be appalled at Will Smith's behavior, appalled at what's going on. But you've been programmed and you've been conditioned to denigrate, to dislike yourselves. And that's why Chris Rock did what he did as far as putting out that very unflattering, demeaning joke. It wasn't funny at all. Especially, and let me get personal with you, especially when we're talking about a woman who suffered from alopecia areata. And that is loss of hair. And why I'm taking it personal, because I know what it's like from personal experience. My mother went through that of losing her hair. Do you know for black women in America, our hair is our crown, is our pride and glory? That is, number one, been denigrated to the point where we can't even wear our hair, and we got to put a law in place in the United States of America so that we can wear our natural hair. The fact that psychologically, for my mother, it was devastating when she lost her hair. She went through a depression that I really believe to this very day contributes to why my mother is not mentally well. She suffers from dementia. The ability, some people want to, on a metaphysical level, lose their memory because they can't face the truth of the reality that they're in right now. And then to have mainstream media do that and sit there and laugh at someone on an international scale all over the world, where Chris Rock said, gave permission for all men. I'm talking about men of Asian descent, men of European descent, men of African descent, men of Hispanic descent, men of Native American descent, men of Southern Asian descent, men of every other culture, to demean, denigrate, and minimize the power and the integrity and the beauty and the love and respect of the Black woman. And wouldn't it be quite fitting? You can see how we're a very sick community and we need a major healing session to go on. The self-hate that we have for ourselves, for Chris Rock to go up there and do that to his own queen, his own queen, his own sister, his own mother, his own friend. To sit there and do that, not once, twice, on a national screen and major television, and for Black people to say, I'm not condoning Will's reaction, because I really believe, people always said that Will Smith, he was laughing. You got to understand, it's Hollywood. And instantaneous, it's an automatic reflex response that you're supposed to laugh at a comedic joke. And immediately he laughed at a reaction before he even got the joke. And then when it registered that he got the joke, you see, it wasn't funny even at the beginning. That was a mere Hollywood reaction. But after he realized what he had said, and then he turns to look at his wife. And let me tell you about Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett Smith is a beautiful soul and spirit. But it is very clear, if you understand, I would give Nicki Minaj a lot of credit. And I'm not a fan of Nicki Minaj. I don't even watch young people. But I did see her response, and she was right with her comment. And she basically stated what all Black women know. If you understand, when a woman loses her hair, ladies and gentlemen, she'll just lose her mind because it's a part of her identity. Oh, we know the thing, it shouldn't be, your hair, your makeup, your skin, your nose, your eyes, your teeth, and everything should not be a part of your identity. But it is for so many people, especially for Black women. Madam C.J. Walker became a multimillionaire, first millionaire in America, Black or white, female in United States of America, based upon the fact that she came out with a hair care product, a tool that allowed women to straighten their hair so they could look European. And we fell for it, a hand lock sync, because that was the epitome of what beauty was all about. It was the antithesis of being a Black woman. Having lips, full lips, and a nose, a wide nose, and having a afro was considered a monkey. Let's keep it real. And even sad to say, after a while, we denigrated ourselves. I did it as a youth because I saw the image of beauty. And it wasn't Black. It was always white. The whitest features as possible. I have women that will not, Black women that will not. They will sacrifice their paying their rent, their mortgage, etc. When it comes to their hair, they're going to make sure it's done, and it's did. I was a cosmetologist. That's why I even know. I even went through that phase myself. And my sister, bless her heart, who, God bless her heart, died bipolar because she truly wanted, and schizophrenic because she wanted to be white. She asked my mother as a youth. She had a perm in her hair since she was 8 years old. And I'm sure, I think she finally, in her late years of her life, died with it natural. But it took everything and all of us to go the natural way. It's the greatest fear for us to be able to do that. Because not so much. We were fearful of what society was going to say. My mother, when I first locked up, and my grandmother, do you know, my grandmother told me, why did you put those locks in your hair? Your hair was so beautiful. You see how much it teaches how to hate ourselves? My mother told me, don't you do that to your hair. You look dirty, you look a mess, you look unkept, and you sure enough don't look beautiful. Can you imagine your mother telling you that? Can you imagine your grandmother telling you that? And I had to smile. And I had to laugh and chuckle because I really did understand that they had taught and brainwashed us and programmed us to hate ourselves, to hate our hair, to hate our noses, to hate our lips, and more importantly, what's hysterical right now, to hate our butts. They did such a good job to demean us to the point where we don't have to worry about them demeaning us. They've trained us so well that we demean ourselves in front of ourselves, and more importantly, in front of the world. So let me be very, very clear about this. And I want you black people to understand this more than anything. We got to get back to the basic. And you black men, you guys got to get back to the basics of loving yourself. Because whenever you demean or call a black woman out of her name, or that you trivialize, quote unquote, the entanglement that happened between Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, and whomever else in their lives, to see you sit there and demean Jada Pinkett Smith and not demean for years and centuries the deadbeat dad. My father was one of them. The head of households are 70% black women. And a lot of you have dropped your posts. We got baby mama dramas now. That's what y'all call them now. And then you get upset when companies put out greeting cards with that. When you created the name and created the act, and that's what you're doing. And black men, how many women, your side chicks, y'all got a name of, y'all call it side chicks, how many women that you have on the side, to the point where you're not even marrying the women that you're with? Check yourself before you wreck yourself, before you sit there and demean and criticize a woman for what you're doing. But what are you doing as a whole collectively as black men? When are you guiding, supporting, cherishing, and loving your black women? Will you call them a bee without even a flip of? And matter of fact, the sad part about it, even black women are calling themselves bees. That's how much they conditioned and trained us. And Snoop Dogg having his women on a chain, calling them bees and having albums out like that. And then we expect white people and Hispanics and Asians and all the other group of people all throughout the world to respect, honor, and love us when we're not respecting, honor, and loving ourselves? My. We've got so much to learn. And I say this is a tough love conversation that I'm having with you. We got to get back into the business of loving ourselves instead of criticizing and judging ourselves. And I was amazed how one of my peers, Boyce Watkins, he has a wonderful channel. And Be First is one of his images. You know, black people loving themselves, honoring themselves, caring for ourselves, and handling that. And he took a poll. And in that poll, majority of people felt that Will Smith was wrong. Message retracted. Oh, okay. That Will Smith was wrong for slapping Chris Rock. Have you ever heard of love taps? Have you heard of tough love? Sometimes you have to do that. I give you an example. One of my greatest spiritual gurus, the son was running across the street. So she had to slap and pull the son out of the way so that the son would not injure himself and getting into a car accident and getting hit by the car. So was she wrong for slapping him and pushing him out of the way to the point where he hurt himself, to not even hurt himself even further? Let me ask you another question. I remember another time when one of my sons went over to the socket with a metal object. I was about to put it into the socket plug, and I immediately slapped his hands to stop him from doing that. Simply put, because I knew he was hurting himself, and I wanted to send a message to him, because the next time he could die from that type of experience, to protect himself. And I believe via Chris Rock, that's what Will Smith was doing. He was giving a love slap to not only remind Chris Rock, but particularly to remind every Black person, all the African people of the diaspora, that we have got to get back into the business of honoring and loving and respecting ourselves first. And when we respect ourselves, we will in turn respect our people. You know, they say that a jerk is half serious and half funny, the honest nature of it. And we want to deal with that halfness of the serious nature of the matter. It's not funny that we have Black on Black crime. But the only reason why we have Black on Black crime, because we have Black on Black lack of self-love for ourselves, and more importantly for our community, for our nation, and our race. That's why we have Black on Black economics. Because of the jealousy and the envy and the self-hate that we have. That when we see someone that looks like us, you gotta think about that. That we want to demise and we want to put them down in the level of poverty. Someone that's successful, we want to demean and take away their glory. That was Will Smith's night. Deservingly so. He worked 50 years of his life for that moment in time. And to see it demeaned and denigrated by another Black man. Woo! Like they say, you don't have to send a miseducated, I'm not going to use the N-word, to the back of the store to go through that door. Because when they've been programmed, they're going to demand it. That, why is everyone acting like Chris Rock knows Jada has alopecia and was making fun of her? You got to understand this, brother. You have to understand this. It's not about Jada. It's about the fact that even Chris Rock did a documentary on how Black women feel about their hair and how it is demeaned. You got to I could really understand if he was ignorant. I'm going to say this again. The brother did a documentary because he saw how society was demeaning him, and he saw that his children were starting to have a negative reflection upon themselves because of the natural nature of their hair. So this is nothing new for Chris, number one. Number two, the reality of the situation is this. Is that even if he had did his due diligence, you see, you got to understand this. This is a profession for these people. They are, you never saw that. Well, you need to see the documentary. The brother made a lot of money. I forgot what the movie was called, a documentary. I saw it and I didn't like it. I saw it because his reasoning for us to see that movie was because of the fact that it was to show a greater positive light on Black women and Black hair and the whole hair industry. But what he did throughout that whole entire movie, he made fun of Black people and Black hair at our expense. Oh, he made a whole lot of money. Probably one of the key movies that made him, because it was a low budget, but he made multi-millions of dollars off of that documentary that he did at Black people's expense. And see, that's why I really want people of the diaspora, and I don't know where you're from or whatever the case may be, but trust me when I tell you, the hair issue in America, as far as Black hair is concerned, I'm going to share this with you. I don't know if you're a brother or a sister, but I'm going to share this with you. In America, the NBA forced the players to not wear cornrows. You know Allen Iverson, he used to wear cornrows in his hair. Now we got NBA players back to wearing cornrows in their hair, but at one time they told us what we couldn't wear, as far as how we had to wear our hair and the type of clothes that we had to wear to show the image of the Europeanization of what they wanted Black people to look like in America. You see, our hair are beautiful, super curly hair, and we should be able to twist it. We should be able to cornrow it or lock it or do whatever it is that we want to, because that's what our hair is capable of doing. So, I love Alan, cool. So I want you to understand this, that Chris knew very well what he was doing. But more importantly, I want you to understand this. I have a cousin who just now passed away a week ago. This is not ironic. His time is of essence. Who had alopecia areata, balding of the hair. I know the reason why she's not here today. She did not commit suicide, but she developed depression for the rest of her life till the day that she died because her crown was no longer there. Oh, she did everything. She went and glorified it and did fabulous things with her hair, but it was a major, major bone of contention. And I know it contributed to her early demise on this earth. See, this is what I want you to understand. I want you to really get and understand that in America, black women's hair is major. You see it. Look at all the styles. Look at all the creative things that we've done in our hair because we always try to put our hair in a situation to be accepted and be loved by white America. And I'm telling us now, the only acceptance, the only love that we need to do is for ourselves. That's the only thing that was important. And you got to understand that Jada Pinkett Smith was working through that. But like Nicki Minaj said, you don't think there were many days and nights that she cried? And it took her 2 years. 2 years. She let everybody know that she was going by. And just recently this year, she finally, quote unquote, came out to college to accept the fact. And she, shaved down her head and she accepted it. And she was sharing her progress. But I could feel the pain. I could feel the agony. I could feel the sadness of this transition. Sure, she has no choice. She has to accept it for now. I know a lot of people say, alopecia, you don't have to be bald forever. There are natural means to heal herself. But for right now, that's where she's at. And so finally, when she decides to come out and finally decides to go, do you know what it took? Because I'm sure she said to her, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to do that because you know how it is. You're not feeling your best. And so she finally gets the courage to come out and go to these award shows. Oh, gosh, she looks absolutely gorgeous and fabulous to all of us. Yeah. But is balding per se in America? Do women, white women, black women, all over the world, what do? We relish our hair. We relish length of hair, etc. This is our thing. I mean, even, half the time I even do these shows, I have my hair wrapped up. Because it's time and it's energy and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, look, I don't feel like doing my hair. But we got to go through a lot of changes just to be accepted, just to be glorified, just to be seen as beautiful. And it means a lot to a lot of women. Just when she does that, he does that. And can you imagine the world laughing at you? The world. I'm going to say it again. The world. We've got 8, 9, 10 billion people in the world. And what message that is being conveyed to the world? People have committed suicide over that. And I just now told you about the mental illness that my mother has because of her bald head. And the mental illness that my cousin had because of her bald hair condition. And if you don't think that that might contribute to a major mental setback, I'm not saying that Jada Pinkett Smith has that desire or want to do that. But you think it's not a thought? Let's keep it real. Because so many women have done it. Yeah. Because it meant the world to them. Because some people, their hair is their identity. Let's keep it real. So I want people to really sit back and think about what I just now shared with you. I want you to see the fact of the lack of love, particularly, let me be very clear, I want black people to get this. I want black men and I want black women to get this. That this is a tough love conversation, and I really believe that Will Smith did a tough love act on that stage to get the message out to the world. Because I promise you, I bet you black, white, Asian, Korean, whatever, race, creed, sex, religious orientation, Jews and Gentile Protestants, Catholics, and Christians, that people are going to respect Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. And like Chris Rock said, okay, I won't do it ever again. Because I really think Chris even know. He went too far with that joke, and it was totally inappropriate and totally unnecessary. And the laugh is truly on him. And I pray that now that we've had this conversation, first and foremost, that we're in a place of what here? Love, acceptance, and forgiveness. Cycle, love, acceptance, and forgiveness. Cycle, love, acceptance, and forgiveness. And that's what we need to do. We need to honor, love, and accept and forgive Will Smith. And we need to honor, love, and accept and forgive Chris Rock. And we need to honor and love and accept and forgive ourselves for even thinking we did anything wrong. I want us to really come together as a community, nation, race, and people and understand that we've got to learn to respect and honor ourselves. Stop calling ourselves the B word. Stop using profanity words to men. Stop calling each other dogs. That's an animal. And when you do, and when you call another person an animal, they're going to do animalistic things, etc., ladies and gentlemen. And if we don't want that, why would we even propel that? Why not try something new, black men? Why don't you start looking at black women as queens, as goddesses that they truly are? And in turn, we will look at you as kings and gods that you truly are. And when you act like that, when you think like that, when you speak like that, and you act like that, that's the type of experience that you would have. We wouldn't need any entanglements. Okay, because when you're confident, self-assured with inside of yourself, oh, one man, one woman is certainly more than enough. When you understand the power of true love and what it's all about. And when you honor and love yourself, when you see another brother or sister achieve massive success, it's the first time you have an act of violence committed at an Oscars that I know of. I'm sorry I didn't see that. I wish I could see that. Let me see that. Let's see if I can see that. Okay. Yes. I see what you're saying. I think I'm going to gravitate to what you're saying, that it's the first time that you ever seen anything of that magnitude. But I'm going to say this to you, and I want you to really get this, and that is, how dare anybody be hypocritical and talk about the United States of America when this country was founded on the violence of the brutality of slavery of a black people. So why would you think it wouldn't be black violence at the Oscars? I see all those white hypocrites, Jews, Gentiles, Protestants, Catholics. I see all of them talk about all of that. But where were they when slavery was going on, when they were brutalizing black men and hanging them by their necks and by their balls and by their penises? Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. Or sitting there cutting out women's babies without any anesthesia as a woman stood there to sit there and tell the slave tried to protect her and take her away. This is what white America did. And this is the violence that they perpetuate every single day. They call it police brutality now. This is what they do. So you want to talk about violence? This country was founded on violence. This country profited off of violence of black people. So I am shocked and I am appalled that you would even say something like that. But I understand you've been programmed too. Just like all the black people that are shocked and appalled that why didn't Will Smith handle that better at the Oscars? The image that he's portraying of black people. But look at the image of Floyd with the white cops knee upon his neck. Let's go to black men. Let's go to what happened to Eric Gardner and what they did to him. He can't breathe with a chokehold that was illegal. And it took them years later to admit to that reality and that police brutality. And everybody all over the world marched for it, etc. And then people wonder why there's violence for the first time at the Oscars. You see, they taught us well. They programmed us well. And that's why you had that type of experience. So I want black people to wake up. Y'all talk about y'all woke. After what I heard yesterday, oh, so many of y'all woke people are so asleep, are so naive, and are so typical of the amenable slave. You know, I love H. Rap Brown, Black Panther. He said, I'd rather deal with a man with a processed head and a natural mind than a man with a natural head and a processed mind. Wake up, black people, black men and black women. I mean, even at that awards, Regina Hall, whom I adore. Oh, Regina, why would you do that? Why would you demean yourself? Why would you demean the reflection of black women at the Oscars? Why would you even suggest an entanglement with Will Smith? I mean, what are you really saying about black women and how they live as far as morals, values, and ethics? That's what I'm saying. We got a lot of work to do, ladies and gentlemen. If black people, black women, and black men, you condone that behavior. But I understand. We still have a problem with black people, men and women, Jay-Z, etc., having no issues with using the N-word. A threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And if you don't use violent words, you're going to provoke violent actions. Let's keep it real. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't expect some group of people to be able to use that word and other people not to be able to use that word. The universe takes it as what you give it. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. If you speak life into someone, you will get life. If you speak death into someone, you will get death at the hands of sometimes even violence. Let's look at the metaphysics of this whole entire situation and circumstance. This was for us to wake up. I'm not concerned about what other people get it. I know that they're not going to get it because nobody is going to walk in your shoes, can truly judge you or go through your experiences. But that was misogynistic. And I'm telling you right now, we've got some healing to do as a people. Because I see majority of black men hating black women. More. I'm not saying that black women don't have a hate thing going on with black men. But I'm saying to you that that's one of the main reasons why we've got problems. And first, I think black men got to solve it among themselves first before they come to us. But let it be done, because I don't care what you do. You can't put a black man on the moon. You can't put a black man in the White House. You can't put a black man in the present school system. You can't make a black man billionaire, Jay-Z, Robert Smith, etc. A black man can't even be born without a black woman. And that's why we need to be revered and held up to the highest esteem, even when we black women lose our mind. Many black women out there have lost their mind. Let's get back into the business of loving ourselves, speaking positively about ourselves, thinking positively about ourselves, and doing positive acts for ourselves, having healthy marriages among ourselves, and community nation, and race. What happened on that stage was a microcosm of the macrocosm of our community. That's why the black family is so dysfunctional, because of slavery. Our marriage began dysfunctionally. We could not even get married. They used to parcel out even when we were married. Imagine your husband being sold, your children being sold, your wives being sold from you from the plantations. We didn't even have a dysfunctionality as far as that is concerned. You wonder why we got entanglements? You wonder why we got deadbeat dads? Who created that? Who started that whole thing? White supremacy and slavery in America. You see, let's get to the core root of the problem, because until we get to the core root of the problem, ladies and gentlemen, we will not be able to solve the problem. Let's tell the truth and let's shame the devil, and let's keep it real. What you saw today was a reflection, or yesterday was a reflection of the old paradigm. This is what marketing, PR, and public relations is all about. Read the book, Brainwash. Please do so, in the United States of America. And that's what you saw play out. Like Shakespeare said, all the world is a stage and all the people are players. And guess what? Black people, we played ourselves. Okay. So with that said, I say that with a lot of love, a lot of smiles. And I hope you, if you just came back in, watch this video from the very beginning. It started with white supremacy and racism. And it is in white supremacy, racism. And until we, black people, I'm going to say this again, the ball is in our court. Because we got control of what we put in our minds, we got control of what we put in our mouths, and we got control of what we put in our pockets. We have the power to make better choices and do right by ourselves, first and foremost. And then we can spread it out to the world. Honor and love yourself, black people. Because nobody can do it better than you. Peace. Hetapu. Namaste. Have a fantastic day. And oh, you're welcome to comment below. And I promise you, I will answer every single one of you. I love you, Will. I love you, Chris. You need Jesus. I love you, Jada. And I love you, black man and black woman. That's why I'm here. Now let's all get together and let's love ourselves. Because what? You know, I always say, love is the greatest medicine of them all. Love makes the world go round and round. And simply put, love always, ladies and gentlemen, it always wins. Peace. Hetapu. Namaste. Have a fantastic, glorious day. Love you.